I didn't think Rashford would be open to leaving. I didn't think he would be with the contract and, you know, Manchester born and bred and all the, you know, let's be honest, brand that's gone with that over the years. I didn't think that he would be at that position. But I think that this just shows a level of maturity.
I think Marcus Rashford is leaving Man United. And I said this before in a video, and I will say this to every single United fan and every live show chat and every news show we have, or any statement that comes out from Rashford that he's leaving United. If you think I'm going to revel in it and celebrate it, like you've lost your marbles.
I mean, who comes in for him now? Arsenal? I mean, Chelsea? I mean, is it Saudi Arabia? Is it the Middle East? You know, where is it? Is it PSG? Is it Bayern Munich? Like, do people think that, you know, he can still provide a lot from this Man United team? I'm not so sure. A new environment is what he needs, though.
I know a lot of people will revel in this sort of short term because he's someone who's been out of form and looks as though he's a little bit disinterested at times when he's playing, and therefore people have decided that they hate him and that he was always bad and he's never had a good game for United and there was never any reason to like him.
I think in protecting himself and his future in the game, it is better to step forward and meet the inevitable head on. I know a lot of people are calling him PR Rashford again, but I actually think this is the right thing to do. So what he's basically saying is, for me, asked the direct question whether he's staying or leaving, this is his quote: "For me, personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United." Now, some people are focusing on the when I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. I would say focus on, for me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. That is basically Marcus Rashford saying he wants to leave Manchester United. And some of you might not be old enough to remember this, but some of you will. When Wayne Rooney did this, that you know, you don't come back from that. I'm ready to leave. I'm ready for a new challenge. You know, I want to leave. Obviously that statement is open for interpretation, but I don't really think it is. For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. I think this is great. I think this is absolutely great. I think it's great for Manchester United. I think it's great for Manchester United fans. And most importantly, because it's his quote, I think it's great for Marcus Rashford. I actually feel quite relieved about this because I want him to go. I think a lot of fans want him to go. I think the club want him to go. But you don't want to be in a situation where the player doesn't want to go. And when I say I want him to go, I think it's best for him. I think it's best for us. I think it's best for the club. I think with Paul Pogba, I wanted him to go. But I didn't hate the player. I wasn't toxic to the player. I just felt that this great player that I really liked, this talented player, had reached the end of the road. And it was an amicable divorce. And that's fine, because you wish the player all the best and you move on with your own path. And I think that's where we should be with this. And it feels like we could be with this, because I have to say, I didn't think Rashford would be open to leaving. I didn't think he would be with the contract and, you know, Manchester born and bred and all the, you know, let's be honest, brand that's gone with that over the years. I didn't think that he would be at that position. But I think that this just shows a level of maturity. And look, some of it could just be they've been talking for days, agency. We can't control this situation. If we kick up a fuss and we say nothing and we don't want to go, we're just going to look bad. So it's inevitable that they want to sell you. So the best thing we can do is embrace that and be positive about it, because that makes us look better to the outside world. So maybe that's what has happened, or I hope maybe the player has looked at it and gone, I'm not happy, it's not working out. I do need to move. And look, Rashford can be relaunched at Arsenal, says Zane. I don't care if he does. I don't care if he goes to Chelsea. I don't care if he goes Saudi. I don't care if he goes Real Madrid. I don't care where he goes, because he could go and he could go and kickstart his career, and we could go off and rebuild a new Manchester United. And it's very interesting what he had to say. I think where we are as a football club is that we need to move on.
This is the most significant quote. Just this whole purple part here, all right? He was asked whether he was staying or going from Manchester United. For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. And that in itself is a significant thing for Rashford to say. I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. For me, opens that door to, I suppose, even a January move. That almost feels like an acceptance from Rashford that maybe it has reached that point from all parties where an exit is going to happen. That's why I did my video earlier, because I felt like it had reached that point. And by the sounds of it here, Rashford is saying the same thing. But it's very important what else he says. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings. You're not going to have any negative comments from me about Manchester United. That's me as a person. If I know that a situation is already bad, I'm not going to make it worse. I've seen how others have left in the past, and I don't want to be that person. When I leave, I'll make a statement, and it will be from me, from the heart, 100%. 100%. That's a very significant quote and comment there from Rashford. For me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge and the next steps. Yeah, it really does sound like maybe something has been said with Rashford behind the scenes. Maybe it's an acceptance from Rashford that it has reached that point where a new challenge is going to happen, because that would be that's one of those questions you can easily bat it off and say, look, I don't know what's going on. Only God knows. One of those. That there is a kind of a very, very honest comment from Rashford. Going down here in a bit more. Saying he's halfway through his career. I don't expect to hit my peak now. And he's still confident that he's got plenty to offer going forward in his career. But ultimately, it's this comment here, which is the headline. I think Marcus Rashford is leaving Man United. And I said this before in a video, and I will say this to every single United fan and every live show chat and every news show we have, or any statement that comes out from Rashford that he's leaving United. If you think I'm going to revel in it and celebrate it, like you're off, you're like, you've lost your marbles. Like you're an idiot. It stings, man. It really stings. Now, you could say, well, Sam Rashford, a lot of this is self-inflicted. And I would say that's definitely part of it. But it doesn't mean that it will be, like, there's going to be United fans that are celebrating this. And, oh, it's fantastic. It's gone. Oh, great. And now United are going to win it all. And then this isn't going to be like an Angel Di Maria leaving the football club, man. This will be a player who's nearly in our top 10 for all-time top goal scorers, an academy player who's come through, who's been at the club since he was a little boy. And there has been plenty of smooth as well as the rough over these last few years. But that there, I'm going back to that. That's quite a... I wasn't expecting to hear such an honest statement there. And especially not really the day after from Rashford. Saying, for me personally, I think I'm ready for a new challenge in the next steps. I don't particularly think that's a sentence that would come out of Marcus Rashford's mouth if he was still just thinking about what's going on from being dropped from the derby. That strikes me as either like a conversation's been had, I don't know, whether it's between Amorim, whether it's between United's staff, whether it's between Rashford and his own people. When I leave, it's going to be no hard feelings, but I personally think I'm ready for a new challenge.
You know, there was a lot of people mentioning about Marcus Rashford, whether he had full commitment. And sometimes you look at Marcus Rashford and you think, is he bothered? Is he interested? You know, and is he up for the fight? But clearly here, he's saying that, you know what, man, I love my United and people talk too much about me. Wow. He said he's ready for a new challenge. That, for me, confirms that he wants to leave, that he's ready to now leave at the age of 27. Who would have thought, after signing a deal, 2 years ago, less than 18 months ago, and now wanted to leave the football club? That is an absolute bomber on this evening on a Tuesday. To be saying that before a game that we have on a Thursday, it is absolutely crazy. Now Ruben Amorim has to go speak out and say, wow, what does he mean? What does he mean by that? What happened? You know what I mean? And it is just absolutely crazy. Marcus Rashford, he says here, I don't expect my peak to be now. I've had 9 years so far in the Premier League, and that's taught me a lot. So that's helped me grow as a player, as a person. So I don't have any regrets for the last 9 years. I won't have any regrets going forward because I take things day by day. And sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes good things happen. I just try and keep a fine balance. This is the best. The best is yet to come. 100%. That's my mentality. Is the best yet to come for Marcus Rashford? I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't think so. I think he's reached his peak, and it's time to move on. And ultimately, he has lost that yard of pace. He has lost that, for me, that energy and that drive and that motivation. And I just don't know if he's got that in him, that extra yard there that he can show. Personally, that's just what I think anyway. But he says, hey, the best is yet to come. I mean, I've seen a certain Raheem Sterling speak like that. You know what I mean? And what happened to him? It's crazy. He talks about the system and whether it suits him. He goes here, but Amorim doesn't play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. He plays with two 10s. The left 10 still suits me, but you have to adapt your game. The biggest skill set is adaptability. People might not see it, but eventually they'll see I've played in plenty of positions under all the managers. Yeah, but you still are not a left 10. That left 10 requires a level of skill that you just don't have, unfortunately. That guile, that kind of, intricacies and that kind of intelligence, I just don't think you have that within you, mate. Your game is based on direct running. Your game is based on dribbling past players, and in that system there, I just don't know whether you have the capability of doing it, and that is why the manager's dropped it for the last 3 games. And he talks about his relentlessness as well. And he talks about how he still wants to work with Ruben Amorim at the minute. And he wants to prove to himself why he can still play for this manager. But wow. Absolutely crazy, guys. This is a madness. Absolute madness. But this is serious, guys. Marcus Rashford is about to leave, or was confirming that his desire is to seek a better opportunity. I want to move on to bigger things. He's saying here that he wants to feel like, that he can provide elsewhere. And who would have thought that? A local lad saying that, what, I feel like, I can give more. I can do more. It's utterly crazy. And the fact that, like I said to you, he's ready for a new challenge and the next steps. I mean, who comes in for him now? Arsenal? I mean, Chelsea? I mean, is it Saudi Arabia? Is it the Middle East? Where is it? Is it PSG? Is it Bayern Munich? Like, do people think that, he can still provide a lot for this Man United team? I'm not so sure. A new environment is what he needs, though. I'm not going to lie to you. He does need a new environment at the minute because his football club is toxic at the minute in terms of the fan base towards him. Maybe it's getting a bit toxic. He feels like the media as well. Maybe a freshness in the media would do the wonders for him, I believe, if I'm being true and honest with you. I think the pressure of going out and not being able to do his thing now, maybe more so in other clubs, fans might not focus on that. But to play for Man United, the level of pressure, when you wear that number 10 shirt, players like Wayne Rooney was wearing that before, and this is a very, very prestige number that you've got on the back of your head, back of your shirt, and you have to play with the utmost pride and professionalism, and we haven't seen that from Marcus Rashford. Unfortunately, we haven't. That's just a reality, guys. We have not seen that from Marcus Rashford, unfortunately, and that's where he's been wrong.
I don't think there's any misconception here or confusion or any grey area. He's saying he wants to leave Manchester United.
Yeah.
He's saying that, look, I'm ready for a new challenge. It's time for me to move on. That's basically what he's saying. Just give us your reaction to that, because you've been very, very supportive and protective, and you're defending Marcus Rashford a lot, as we all have, but you especially. What do you make of what he said and the timing of it as well?
I'm quite stunned, to be honest. I didn't expect this to happen. I didn't think. I mean, not that I didn't expect him to leave, because we've spoken about this over the last week or two, and it's looked more and more likely. But I didn't expect him to come out and say, "I want to leave." Essentially, is what he's saying. I'm ready for a new challenge. I want to leave. Those two things are the same as far as I can make out. I didn't think he'd do that, and not like a disrespect thing. I just didn't think he would. Like, I didn't. If you'd asked me if I thought that would happen, I would have said absolutely not. It's just sad, isn't it? It is sad. And it's like, I know a lot of people will revel in this sort of short term because he's someone who's been out of form and looks as though he's a little bit disinterested at times when he's playing, and therefore people have decided that they hate him and that he was always bad and he's never had a good game for United and there was never any reason to like him. But those things aren't true. And he's had loads of great games for United and loads of great big games for United, and he's done so many good things for Man United in a time where not many people have done a lot of great things for Man United in the last 8 or 9 years since he came through. So it's a sad one, and I can't believe it, really. What do you think? How do you feel about this? How are you feeling?
I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit disappointed with it all because it's 2 days after he got dropped from the squad. The manager's gone out and said he's trained, it's fine, there's not an issue there. And then that was on the Sunday, and on the Tuesday he's given an interview, albeit with an interview with someone we all like and respect and who's been on this channel, saying I'm ready to go. And I just think I wanted to see him react in a more positive way than that. I wanted to see him say, all right, you dropped me from the squad for the City game, I'll show you what I'm about. Amarim left the door open for him. He said it's not a disciplinary issue. If he turns up in training, I'm paraphrasing here by the way, if he turns up in training, he'll get an opportunity again, as will Alejandro Garnacho. So it's not just Marcus Rashford, obviously it was Garnacho. So Marcus could have said, right, I'm going to show the manager he's got this one wrong, or I'm going to show the manager that I am his guy, and he could have, knuckled down, got back into the team. I thought he might have even played this week. I thought he might have even played against Spurs. Yeah. There's a chance he could have got a game against Spurs, because obviously the games are coming thick and fast. You've got Bournemouth at the weekend. There's every chance the manager would have gone, look, he's maybe not starting, but at least bring you off the bench. Yeah. That would have been the right thing to do for me. But to sort of get dropped and then to less than 48 hours later, or around 48 hours later, an interview drop saying, you're ready for a new challenge. I'm a bit disappointed in that. I've always loved Marcus Rashford. I'll defend him. And I think I said this the other day, when he returns to Old Trafford, if he returns to another club, he'll get a great reception from me, as long as he's not playing for the Scousers or something. But I am a bit disappointed with the timing of this, because what he's actually said isn't the worst thing I've heard. And if he did this in the summer, I'd be like, yeah, fine, absolutely, zero issue with it at all, because he talks about being a Red 100%. He talks about, wanting the best of the club and always loving the club and all the rest of it. I get all that and I agree with all that. It's the timing for me.